My name is Karen. I'm sitting in my cabin in Alaska, the silence wrapping around me like a thick blanket. The only sound is the gentle crackling of the fire in the hearth. Outside, the northern lights dance across the sky, a mesmerizing display of green and violet. It's been 3 weeks since I left my family behind, and I'm starting to feel like a different person. I remember the day I decided to leave like it was yesterday. It was my parents' 25th anniversary party, and I'd spent weeks planning every detail. I'd arranged the flowers, coordinated the catering, and even selected the music. But when the party finally arrived, I realized that I was still just the invisible helper, the one who made everything happen but never got to enjoy it. As I stood there in my champagne dress, watching my family laugh and dance, I felt a sense of emptiness wash over me. I'd spent my whole life making sure everyone else was happy, but I'd never stopped to think about what I wanted. I'd always been the responsible one, the one who could be counted on to handle anything. But at that moment, I realized that I'd lost myself in the process. I remember looking at my reflection in the mirror, wondering if anyone would even notice if I disappeared. I'd always been so good at blending in, at being the perfect daughter, sister, and friend. But in that moment, I realized that I didn't want to be invisible anymore. I wanted to be seen, to be heard, to be valued for who I was, not just for what I could do. So I made a decision. I packed my bags, booked a flight to Alaska, and left without saying goodbye. It was the scariest thing I'd ever done, but it was also the most liberating. For the first time in my life, I was free to be myself, to do what I wanted, to follow my own dreams. The first few days in Alaska were tough. I was used to being surrounded by people, by noise, by activity. But here, there was nothing but silence. I found myself missing my family, my friends, my old life. But at the same time, I knew that I couldn't go back. I'd come too far. I'd learned too much. I remember meeting Sarah, the nurse from Minneapolis, and Mike, the Montana hiker. They were both on their own journeys of self-discovery, and they helped me to see that I wasn't alone. They encouraged me to follow my dreams, to take risks, to be brave. I also remember meeting Margaret, the silver-haired artist. She was sitting in the lodge's common room, sketching the northern lights. I watched her for a while, mesmerized by the way her charcoal moved across the paper. She looked up at me and smiled, and in that moment, I felt like I'd found a kindred spirit. She told me that she'd started traveling solo after her husband passed away. She said that it had been the hardest thing she'd ever done, but it had also been the most rewarding. She said that she'd learned to be independent, to trust herself, to follow her own instincts. I remember sitting there listening to her story and feeling a sense of hope wash over me. I realized that I wasn't alone, that there were other people out there who had gone through similar experiences. I realized that I could do this, that I could find my own way, that I could be happy. As the days turned into weeks, I started to feel more and more at home in Alaska. I explored the wilderness, went on hikes, and even took a photography class. I met new people, made new friends, and started to build a new life for myself. But then, one day, my phone rang. It was my mom. She sounded worried, and she asked me where I was. I told her that I was in Alaska, and she was shocked. She asked me why I'd left, and I told her the truth. I told her that I'd been feeling invisible, that I'd been putting everyone else's needs before my own, that I needed some time to figure out who I was. She was silent for a moment, and then she said that she understood. She said that she was sorry for not seeing me, for not appreciating me, for taking me for granted. She said that she loved me, and that she wanted me to come home. I was torn. On the one hand, I wanted to go home. I miss my family, my friends, my old life. But on the other hand, I didn't want to go back to the way things were. I didn't want to be the invisible helper, the one who made everything happen but never got to enjoy it. So I made a decision. I told my mom that I would come home, but only if things were different. I told her that I wanted to be seen, to be heard, to be valued for who I was, not just for what I could do. I told her that I wanted to be a part of the family, not just the one who took care of everything. She agreed, and I knew that it wouldn't be easy. But I also knew that it was worth it. I knew that I had to take a stand, to fight for what I wanted, to be true to myself. So here I am, sitting in my cabin in Alaska, looking out at the northern lights. I'm still not sure what the future holds, but I'm ready to face it. I'm ready to be seen, to be heard, to be valued for who I am. I'm ready to be the author of my own story.